Describing chemical reactions. Every second of the day, chemical reactions take place, both inside our bodies and around us. After a meal, a series of chemical reactions take place as our body digests food. One important chemical reaction in our body is respiration. It is a reaction which involves glucose, which is the end product of digestion of food, and oxygen gas, the one that we inhale from the air, and the products of this respiration are carbon dioxide, the one that we exhale, and water, and energy or heat. And this is the one that body utilizes in order to function. Now we call it exothermic reaction because heat is released. So every time you see a chemical reaction where the energy or heat is on the product side, this one, then that is an exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction. Now, plants use sunlight to drive the photosynthesis needed to produce plant growth. So here is the reaction of photosynthesis. Of course, sunlight, which is the source of heat, is absorbed by the plants, and carbon dioxide is needed by the plants, the one that we exhale, and also water is needed in order for photosynthesis reaction to happen. So what are the products of photosynthesis? Glucose, the one present in plant foods, fruits, and crops, and of course, the oxygen gas that we inhale from plants, coming from plants. And according to research, the two mature trees with so many leaves are sufficient to provide the oxygen needed by a family of 4 members. Okay, that's very interesting, right? And this is what we call endothermic reaction because heat is absorbed by the system, by plants. So if you see that heat is on the reactant side, heat is on the reactant side, then you say this is an endothermic reaction. Now, let's describe the rusting of iron using word equation. Iron reacts with oxygen to produce iron oxide, which is called rust. So the formula of rust is iron oxide. So we can convert that word equation into skeleton chemical equation wherein we can write the symbol of iron. And the symbol of iron is Fe, solid. We need to indicate the state, solid. And then instead of reacts with, we can simply use the symbol of plus, this one. And then with oxygen, so this is the symbol of oxygen gas. And it is a gas, so the state is a gas. And to produce is replaced by the symbol arrow. And iron oxide, this is the formula of iron oxide, which is rust. And we know that rust is solid, okay? So as you can see, the reactants are written on the left of the arrow, and the products are written on the right side of the arrow. So remember, we are using symbols like plus sign signifying reacts with, arrow signifying produce, and the S, gas, and S are signifying the states of the reactants or product. And as you can see, this is the rust, right? This one. And therefore, we say the sign of a chemical reaction is change in color. Now, another sign of chemical reaction is the production of gas, bubbles. Every time there's a chemical reaction and you see bubble formation, then we can say gas is one of the products. Okay, so another sign of exothermic reaction, which is heat is released, is this one, burning. Actually, this is known as combustion reaction. As you can see, we have charcoal, and the symbol of charcoal is carbon. Of course, again, oxygen gas from the air, producing carbon dioxide, the smoke, and of course, water vapor. So one sign of chemical reaction is the formation of tremendous heat. Another sign of chemical reaction is formation of precipitate. So when we say precipitate, it is an insoluble solid that emerges from a liquid solution. So here we have a blue precipitate, here we have brownish precipitate and grayish precipitate. They are formed when liquid solution are mixed. So let us summarize what we have learned. The symbols used in chemical equation. We use plus to separate the two reactants or two products. We use the arrow. It represents yields or produces or forms, and it separates the reactants from the products. And we use the symbol S, solid, L for liquid, and gas, G for gas, to designate the different states of the reactants and products. And sometimes you will encounter AQ. AQ means aqueous solution, and it means the substance is dissolved in water. And they are all placed after the formula.